Okay, so you know Mike's Waffen facts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't at this point, right?
It's kind of a phenomenon.
It really is. With Mike and his theories.
And Rickard egging him on every step of the way.
Yeah, and of course, who could forget Romanka?
The man behind the curtain.
Maybe more like the man behind the soundboard.
Right, exactly.
But today, we're not diving into some obscure weapon system or debating the finer points of gas bolt's history. You know what I mean?
No, today is a little different, right?
It is.
Today we're going deeper into MWF itself.
Behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. We've got our hands on something pretty special.
Something that might just blow the whole thing wide open.
Romanka's secret security tapes.
Straight from the Schwatten bunker.
Recordings nobody was ever supposed to see.
And let me tell you, things get really weird.
Seriously weird stuff happening when they thought the cameras were off.
And we're focusing on one incident in particular.
Just after episode 604.
Yeah, the cleaning person, Malle,
Let's just say Malle was having a bit of a night.
arrives at the studio probably a bit more than tipsy.
And walks right into a situation with Kyrem.
And the grind man plasma cannon.
You know, the one from episode 605?
Right, yeah. Remember all the hype around that thing?
Well, Malle caught Kyrem doing something he shouldn't have been.
Tampering with it.
Messing with Mike's new toy, let's just say.
And it all went down on tape.
So knowing what we know about MWF now,
And the whole crazy story so far.
this little incident suddenly becomes a lot more important.
So let's break it down, shall we?
Let's set the scene first.
All right, paint us a picture.
So it's the Schweiten bunker studio, right?
After recording episode 604,
You know, if the transcripts and the script are anything to go by,
it's probably the typical scene.
controlled chaos, you might call it.
Yeah, lights dimmed, but Romanka's security camera is running.
Weapon props scattered about,
Empty beer bottles everywhere.
technical equipment all over the place.
Cables snaking across the floor.
And of course, front and center, the Grindman plasma cannon.
Looking all menacing in the shadows.
Oh, and let's not forget the legendary Fleisentisch,
Covered in microphones.
all hooked up and ready to go.
The heart of the MWF operation right there.
Now enter our two stars of this little drama.
First up, we've got Mal.
The cleaning person.
And they are not exactly sober.
Not even close.
The notes describe Malle as clearly drunk.
Known for embellishment.
Always adding a little extra flair to things.
Sporting a stained shirt.
And clutching a half-empty bottle of doppelkorn.
Their trusty companion for the evening.
Initial impressions from the security footage.
Mumbling a bit, singing off-key.
Stumbling around, taking in the mess with a kind of detached amusement.
Like they've seen it all before.
Which they probably have.
And then we have Kyrem.
The mysterious sound engineer.
The guy who seemingly appeared out of nowhere.
Right after Romanka left.
Back in season 3, I think it was around Folge 567.
Yeah, he always kept to himself, mostly quiet, almost unsettling.
But in this recording, something's different.
He's nervous.
Agitated.
Even aggressive at times.
Which is totally out of character for him.
This is not the quiet Kyrem we're used to.
So right off the bat, that's a red flag.
So Malle walks in, sees the state of things,
Takes a swig of doppelkorn.
and then spots Kyrem messing with the plasma cannon.
Doing something to adjusting something.
And Malle, in their less than sober state,
Calls him out on it.
asks him what he's doing with Mike's new blush square.
Like it's the most natural thing in the world.
Just a casual question between colleagues.
But Tyron doesn't see it that way.
He freaks out.
Tells Mal to get lost.
This is none of their business.
Like really defensive, almost panicked.
Why so secretive, right?
What's he trying to hide?
But Malle being Malle, they don't back down.
They introduce themselves as the one responsible for restoration.
Basically saying, I'm the one who cleans up your mess.
And points out that Kyrem is messing with Mike's toy.
And with a drunken sort of wisdom
They warn him about Mike's sensitivity.
when it comes to his weapons.
You can practically hear the unspoken words.
You're playing with fire, buddy.
And that's when things get really heated.
Kyrem loses it.
Steps right up to Malle.
Gets in their face.
Tells them to keep their mouths shut.
Says Mike would believe them anyway.
Even goes so far as to say Mike doesn't want Malle cleaning when he's there.
Because Malle ruins his drinking with their extreme ways.
It's like a personal attack at this point.
And then he throws out this really nasty insult.
You lacking victim!
It's just so out of character.
Like, where's this anger coming from?
Obviously, Malle's even more suspicious now.
Sensing Kyrem is hiding something.
They ask him straight up,
Are you tuning the weapon?
or are you trying to steal it?
And you can see Kyrem tense up.
He balls his fists,
stammers out a response
says he's just checking the function.
for the next episode.
At Mike's request, of course.
He adds that he's responsible for all the tech.
Including the weapons.
It's all very unconvincing.
Like he's trying way too hard.
And Malle's not buying it.
They take another swig of doppelkorn.
Looks him dead in the eye.
And asks with a heavy dose of sarcasm.
Are you going to overthrow the Continental Raygun with that thing?
Like Rickard always talks about.
It's a funny line.
But it also reminds us of Rickard's paranoia.
Which might not be so paranoid after all.
And Kyrem completely avoids the question.
Won't even look at Malle.
Just keeps repeating that he's preparing for the next episode.
Mike's gonna do something spectacular, he says.
But Malle knows Mike.
And spectacular can mean a lot of things when it comes to Mike.
They express their doubts.
Says they don't think Kyrem is really looking out for Mike.
There's even a hint of protectiveness towards Mike in there.
Despite all his craziness.
Malle even says, I kind of like the crazy guy.
Like they formed some weird bond with him.
Working in that crazy environment.
It's really fascinating how loyalties can form in the strangest places.
And then Kyrem tries to intimidate Malle even more.
Points a finger at them.
Tells them they don't know who they're dealing with.
It's none of their business.
They should just forget what they saw.
Or face unpleasant consequences.
That's a direct threat.
No more stammering or excuses.
It's like he's showing his true colors.
But Malle's not scared.
They laugh it off.
Says they've always been unpleasant.
Seen way worse than whatever Kyrem can dish out.
They tell him they're going to keep an eye on him.
And if Mike gets upset about his toy being touched,
Kyrem will be held accountable.
it's like a drunken showdown.
With Malle standing up to this shadowy figure,
The security footage shows the tension building.
Malle finishes their doppelkorn,
Throws the empty bottle.
which shatters loudly in the silence of the studio.
And then grins at Kyrem,
A defiant sort of grin.
leaving Kyrem standing there angry and tense.
It's like Malle won that round.
In their own weird way.
So let's take a step back.
And look at how this bizarre encounter fits into the bigger picture.
The whole MWF saga.
First of all, there's Kyrem himself,
The mystery man.
arriving out of the blue.
After Ramonka's departure.
Remember all the speculation back then?
Who is this guy?
Is he connected to Schwatten?
Maybe even working for Mike directly.
This incident with Malle just adds more fuel to the fire.
Makes him even more suspicious.
And then there are those weird audio glitches.
That started popping up after Kyrem took over.
Those distorted whispers.
Strange feedback loops.
At first, people thought it was just technical issues.
But what if it was intentional?
Encrypted messages, maybe?
Hidden communication.
Could this be what Kyrem was doing with the plasma cannon?
Maybe trying to send a signal.
Or receive one?
And then there's that Doza Crew song.
With the lyrics that mentioned Kyrem?
And the whole thing mirroring Mike's descent into paranoia.
It's creepy, right?
Could be just a coincidence.
Or maybe Kyrem was influencing Mike somehow.
Using the music.
Planting ideas in his head.
We know those Doza Crew lyrics often reflected what was going on behind the scenes.
It's unsettling to think about.
And we can't forget Ramonka.
His sudden departure.
Around episode 563.
Remember he said he felt more like Mike's secretary?
Then a sound engineer.
And those voicemails Mike left for Ramonka after he quit.
Those desperate pleas.
Almost like he knew something was wrong.
And something big was about to happen.
Those voicemails were right around the time of episode 605.
The same time as the plasma cannon incident?
What if Ramonka saw something he shouldn't have?
Something to do with Kyrem.
And then there's Greiman Frieden's work.
Their investigations on Regulus 5.
That devastating condition affecting the population there.
And the Solar Sol Dayton Staffel blocking their efforts.
Remember, Greiman Frieden's work was the supplier of Mike's weapons.
Including the plasma cannon.
Could Kyrem's actions be connected to all that?
Maybe the plasma cannon is somehow tied to what's happening on Regulus 5.
Or the Solar Soldaten Staffel.
It's all starting to connect.
And then, of course, we have Rickard.
Arrested by the SSS.
After he vowed to expose the truth.
They even threatened him.
And Mike.
What if Rickard was onto something huge?
Something connecting all the dots.
Could Kyrem be involved in that too?
Maybe trying to silence Rickard.
Before he could reveal anything.
It's all very suspicious.
So what was Kyrem really doing with that plasma cannon?
Why all the secrecy?
The aggression towards Malle?
Remember he called Malle a Lauverdruber?
A troublemaker, a spoiler.
Clearly he didn't want anyone knowing what he was up to.
Was he modifying the weapon?
Calibrating it for some unknown purpose?
Or was he planning something even more sinister?
Like Malle suggested.
We may never know for sure.
But one thing's for certain.
This incident changes everything.
It casts a whole new light on Kyrem.
And his role in the MWF saga
Malle's drunken confrontation.
gave us a glimpse behind the curtain.
And it's not pretty.
That Lauverdober comment alone speaks volumes.
There's something dark going on here.
Something we're only just beginning to understand.
This security tape,
It's a game changer.
it raises more questions than it answers.
But it confirms one thing.
The truth behind Mike's Waffen facts.
Is far more complex
And far more dangerous.
than we ever imagined.
So what do you think?
What does it all mean?
Could Kyrem's actions be connected to Regulus 5?
The Solar Soldatenstaffel?
Mike's disappearance.
What was so important about that plasma cannon?
It's time to rethink everything we thought we knew.
Go back and listen to those old episodes.
With this new information in mind.
You might just hear things differently.
The truth is out there.
Buried somewhere in the chaos of Mike's Waffen facts.
And we're getting closer to uncovering it.
One deep dive at a time.